Today on a spicy production, we're going to be doing Not Paella. That's right, this is not paella. It's going to be something very similar to it. We're going to start out by deboning some chicken thighs here. You can find skinless, boneless chicken thighs, and you can find skin on, bone in, but I couldn't find any skin on, boneless. It's alright. Those bones I get out of there will be good to make some stock with. Just save them in my freezer, along with any other bones and pieces of poultry that I get a hold of. And over the next few months, and I'll make some more bone broth. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. Just follow the bone up. They're really easy. Just work your knife around it and then get it underneath it and cut it off. The reason that we want to keep the skin on in this recipe is because we want to be able to crisp it up and render that fat out. That becomes a pretty crucial part of this whole operation. Here I'm just checking to make sure that I don't have any cartilage or anything inedible in them. Got a big old cast iron skillet. Put a little olive oil in just to help prevent sticking. Not much. Just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. Let it warm up. One thing you don't want to do is let it come to get smoky. You just want it to get hot and shimmery. Then we're going to want to drop these thighs in here, skin side down. Try to remember to always lay away from you so you don't end up splashing or popping hot grease on top of you. Then you want to let these go for probably a good 5 minutes on that side. You need to let that skin get good and crisped up, and it'll render a lot of that fat out. Here I'm just throwing a little bit of salt on the meat. Alright, now I'm cutting up a shallot. You can use just a red onion if you wanted to. And yep, that's just regular old pepperoni, like what you put on a pizza. Traditionally in a paella, if you were going to use sausage, it would probably be chorizo, but there's a lot of people from Spain that would be rolling their eyes at me if I said that. But this is not a paella, so I don't have to worry about that. Cut up clove garlic. That one had a little bit of green in the middle of it, so I was just picking it out. It can get a little bitter sometimes, not always. Back to our chicken, we're going to flip it over. We're going to let it just start to get cooked on the other side. We're not cooking this quite all the way through yet. We're going to end up pulling this chicken out and just putting it in a bowl off to the side or on a plate. You want to put it on something that'll be able to catch the juices that come out of the chicken, because you're going to want to pour those back in. There'll be all those little crispy bits on the bottom, which will be great. You can just leave them there. Don't worry about scraping it all up. In that chicken fat, you're going to fry your onions, your sausage, then throw your garlic in on top so it doesn't burn. Just give that a quick stir, just to get everything going and get some of that sausage fat rendered out. The whole idea is this fat is what's going to flavor the rice that we're about to put in. And you're going to actually fry the rice just like you would at the beginning of a paella, or like you would at the beginning of a risotto. And we're using short grain rice, arborio, I do believe. Let that sizzle away there. As I'm doing all this, there's the garlic going in. Now here goes the rice. As I'm doing all this, I'm making sure I have some chicken stock handy. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be even homemade. You can use it from a carton, whatever. We're letting that rice soak up all that flavorful fat. Fry a little bit and get a little bit toasted. Now pour that broth in there, and that's when it's going to get all those sticky bits off the bottom. You're actually deglazing that pan. Kind of hard to see on the black cast iron, but you just scrape it till it feels smooth. And I like to put in a healthy amount of paprika and some oregano. Spread your rice out, and then nestle your chicken back into the rice. Now it's just a matter of adding some broth in to help get the rice where you want it. Put a little more paprika over the top, or cayenne if you want to. Give it a little bit of a kick. And I like putting it under the broiler. That just gets that paprika or cayenne, whatever, on that chicken skin and gets it a little more crispy. When your rice has absorbed all the liquid, you don't want to taste it. If it still feels tough, add some more and put it on the burner. From here on out, you want the heat pretty much coming from the bottom. You just keep adding broth and letting it boil down and absorb that into that rice, and just keep checking it. Once the rice is done and the chicken is fork tender, you're ready to roll. The reason you want the heat coming from the bottom from now on is because you're trying to develop a crust on the bottom. If this were a paella, that would be one of the best parts, and it's called the sacrat, I think. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but everybody seems to love it. And in this dish, it turned out delicious as well. Tastes like fried potatoes almost. And throwing a little some peas in there just so we can have some vegetables. They go really well with this kind of stuff. It gives a nice sweet green pop to everything. There it is. This is not a paella. I'm not sure what it is, but it is delicious. Garnish it with some tomatoes and some limes. Squeeze the lime over that chicken. You can't go wrong. You know you want to have a bite. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.